Good morning. Welcome to City Media TV. We're thrilled to start the launch of a new podcast, and I'm going to introduce the two key players. Play on words. The two key players in the new podcast. We're really happy to have Shauna Mackenzie and Dr. Keys from KeysMD, and they're going to talk about body contouring. They've got a new podcast that's starting that's going to talk about everything about whole wellness, beauty, and body contouring. Let's just start the conversation right there. Shauna, how are you today?
Great. I'm doing great. I have had half a coffee, so once that kicks in, I'll be flying.
You'll be sailing. Exactly. Mm-hmm. How are you, Dr. Keys?
Great.
Great.
Best day ever.
Good.
Couldn't get any better.
And you're in your location right now downtown, so it must feel great to be. I'm sure you've been seeing patients all through the shutdown. Have you?
We did have to close down at different periods, but yeah, we're back up and open right now, which is great.
Well, that's great. That's great. Well, we're really excited to hear what you have to say today. Talking about body contouring, it's top of mind for everybody. I don't know how many people I've talked to that are talking about that COVID weight, right? We've been at home. We haven't been sort of out doing our normal things. And so all of a sudden now things are starting to open up and it's like, oh, how do we deal with this? So maybe I'll just turn it over to the two of you and start the conversation talk a little bit about body contouring and what that does for your patients and how that would work.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a trending and evolving topic right now. It's growing, exponentially almost each year. I believe in 2019 it was a $1 billion industry. It's growing to about $3.5 billion industry by 2027. So it's growing quite quickly, we're excited to be able to offer this service.
I think we're like the first ones in London to have the body contouring machine that we have, which is the Evolve.
Mm-hmm.
It separates us from other clinics and other places just because of the way that the 3-in-1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the device does three things. It's the first FDA-approved device that destroys fat, it tightens the skin, and it also builds muscle. Traditionally or originally, it was just one device would do each of those. So, it's exciting that we have a new device, first one out there that can do all three.
Mm-hmm. And so, like when we're talking to different patients, like who would you say is like the ideal candidate for?
Yeah, the ideal candidate for this. Well, there's the ideal and there's the typical. Ideal would be someone that already works out. They're relatively fit already. Maybe the mom that has that little bit of extra fat, below their belly button that they just can't get rid of, which is extremely common. But yeah, the gym goer that's already fit and active, that just have little problem areas here and there, and they want little tweaks to either build muscle and to tone a little bit more, to tighten some loose skin if you've had a couple of children. Or just to lose a little bit of fat here and there. So that's probably I would say that's the ideal patient. Typical is going to be someone that's a little bit heavier, probably BMI over 30, that's obese. They want to come in and want a makeover, and definitely we can improve on that. But it's not a whole total body makeover. So with that, you're going to have a lot of lifestyle changes as well. You can't just use the device. So that's where sometimes we'll put people on weight loss programs and do something like that in addition to using the device. We cannot go to McDonald's after and just use this as a substitute for exercise. That's right.
So it's not evolve and then go to McDonald's. That's not the way.
Yeah. That's not the plan. Yeah.
Good to know in advance.
Right.
So the question everybody always has is, does it hurt? What can I do after? Will I be able to sort of resume my normal activities right away? What happens next?
So I've actually had this treatment more than once. It doesn't hurt. It is very warm. It's almost like if you're doing like the trim, which is the fat reduction aspect of the contouring machine. It suctions your fat almost, and then it's just warm. The one part that does kind of hurt is the tone, which is the EMS it's like a muscle stimulant, is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's contracting your muscles, and that's depending on how high you get on the scale of how do you
Intensity.
the intensity, it can get a little bit painful.
Mhm.
It's electronic muscle stimulation, so it's giving you involuntary muscle contractions. So it's does it hurt? I don't know if it
You've
hurts,
tried
but
it.
yeah, it's a
You didn't do it
unusual
in front of
feeling.
anyone though, because
Yeah, I tried it. I was saying to see what it felt like.
How many sit-ups is it equivalent to? You gave
It's
me.
a 30-minute session is equivalent to 20 to 30,000 sit-ups.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
insane.
yeah.
Yeah, something you can never do on your own, and it's a super maximal contraction. So it's like contracting more than what we can typically do. So yeah, the results can be quite good from it.
So would your stomach be really? Would your muscles be really stiff the next day?
Yeah, it would be like you just did a workout, like you
Yeah.
did 20,000 sit-ups. Yeah,
An
yeah,
insane workout. Exactly. Yeah.
right. Yeah.
But
So you
that's how I feel like people would know, like they know that it's working, right?
exactly, you can feel it. So you would do all three is one session, or like the fat reduction and the toning, and what's the third one again?
Skin tightening.
Skin tightening.
Yeah.
And so
So it's FDA approved to do 2 treatments in a day. So, this one, it can be custom tailored to what the patient's needs are. So, if they don't really care about muscle, or maybe, muscle's too deep, we could, get rid of some of the fat and try to tighten the loose skin on their abdomen. It can be used on different body parts as well. So, whether it's the arms or hips or buttocks or thighs, different areas. So it's really depends on what the patient's looking for. And then they're usually spaced 1 week apart.
do you notice a big difference in your patients after 6 weeks? Like, what do you see? Give us some examples of what happens for people.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see?
Yeah, it like depends on where they're like. Obviously, you would see a difference anywhere, but especially in the abdomen region, you would see more like toning of your body, like kind of almost like abs, right?
Yeah, I mean, they start showing through.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just getting more toned overall. So the point is to eliminate some of the fat over top of the muscles, tighten the skin, and then build a little bit of muscle. So overall, it's just an overall toning of the abdomen and contouring, right? So, that's the goal for our patients, and it's getting more and more popular all the time as more people recognize, what it is and what it can do.
A lot of celebrities do like the Evolve, so that's where I think are being like it's being more recognized because so many celebrities are using this body contouring treatment as well. And in Canada, it's new, and it's like there's 3 in 1, so like you're going to see a huge difference in your body just from the tightening, like all of it together is just it groups really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a difficult year for people who have been maintaining a relatively healthy gym schedule, and then all of a sudden you can't. So this would be ideal for someone like that. It sounds like it would be anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were talking about the COVID-15 last summer, so I can only imagine what it is now, right? So,
I hope it's not COVID-30.
yeah, exactly. So, the other advantage to this device is it is hands-free, so we can go in and we can, put it on, and we can leave the room, and you have a little button that you can press if there's any issues, which there basically never is. Yeah, it's hands-free and don't have to worry about any spread of COVID. Our office is obviously quite clean.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And we've had a few moms come in too, and like the feedback that they give us when they're in that treatment room is that it's just like a nice break, because it does feel like you're going for a warm stone massage, but you're just changing your body from having
Get some benefits.
Yeah.
So that just must make your clients feel amazing. I mean, it gives you your confidence back. It starts to make you feel like you like your body again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much that doesn't get talked about sort of the emotional and the emotional benefits or the mental benefits of how you feel afterwards. Not even how you look, but how you feel inside.
It's so true. And like I feel like for people that have struggled their entire lives with their weight and their body, like especially in the summertime, like putting on a bathing suit is probably the most like traumatizing thing, because you're worried that people are looking at you, and that's where I find that we can help people the most, because it's almost like the stubborn areas that going to the gym, trying every food that you can to help you lose weight. You can't get rid of everything. So I feel like with the body contouring, it really helps with people's confidence as well.
We've talked about moms as being sort of a typical client, but yeah, I'm sure, do you have male clients as well? Is it male? Everyone uses it?
Anyone can use this machine. Like it will help with men and women.
Yeah. So same thing.
Dr. Keys has washboard abs from it. So
Yeah, that's right. I use it every day. I
he
use it
uses
every day for a year.
Yeah. I was telling him he should just go in and just take his shirt off, and people will be like, "Oh my gosh, yeah."
Yeah. I use it once.
You're telling us you do 20,000 sit-ups every day.
Yeah, every day. Yeah, I just sit in there every day and use it.
Yeah.
No, I used it once when we got it just to see what it felt like, and yeah, it was like we were talking about. It's a pretty unusual feeling, but it works if you need it. But I do my own sit-ups.
It's a balance, right? Yeah.
It's a balance. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, male clients use it. The gym goers are obviously the good ones to get in here. So, I mean, I know guys. I have friends that work out 2 or 3 hours a day, and they still don't get abs, right? So, this is something that can definitely help them kind of get over that hump to getting there, right? To defining them a little bit more and having them show through a little bit more as well. So, guys also have that stubborn area of lower fat too, but not the same as females do. So, we can trim that fat down. Some people have looser skin, or if you've had some weight loss that's bothering you, we can tighten up that skin. Other areas for that are like above the knees. People have that looser skin with age, of course, above the knees, so it can help tighten that skin. And then on the underarms, where the skin sags a little bit sometimes as well, it works well there too.
Tell us about how you got into this field. You're a medical doctor first, and I know you've got a medical practice as well. So how did you get into the field of cosmetic and body contouring?
Yeah, I trained at Michigan State University, and I had an elective, and I always had an interest in this. It was just kind of intriguing to me, this whole industry, but I really didn't know that much about it. So I sent a message to one of the, if not the biggest medical spa in the world, and asked if I could come and kind of hang out for the month and just kind of see what they do. And I went there. They were great. They welcomed me with open arms, and they let me do everything. And I was doing all the procedures, and it was so much better than I was even expecting. So that's really where I gained my interest and realized that I actually do love this industry and have a passion for it. So I came back and just kind of started modeling what they were doing a little bit, because they were doing things very well.
I find in this industry, it's very saturated, but I feel there's only the few that survive are the ones that are true artists. You really do see how patients come in and then they leave and they cry because they're so happy because he's changed their entire face. And I think that's one of my favorite things about being here is seeing you do your thing, and then patients leave and they're so happy.
If you had one myth that you think people are carrying around right now about the processes that you want to get out there, what would that be? What would you like to clarify?
Do you want to take that one? Or?
For me, I think that still to this day, people get filler and Botox confused. So they'll point at their face, and where you would need filler, they're like, you need Botox here. Or even with Botox, some people still think that it's a toxin and it's rat poison or whatever else. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. But I think then we have a lot of younger clients, and I think, is it the Gen Zers or they do so much research before they're stepping into a place like this. So I think with cosmetics in this industry, it's really changing. So many people are more open and honest about having work done, where before it was you would never tell anyone because you were almost embarrassed, or I don't know.
want to pretend like they look that way naturally.
Yeah.
So they,
I still do
hide
that.
a little bit.
We don't want to give you any credit.
Yeah. But things are definitely changing now. Now people almost want others to know. So whether it's more of a status symbol now or what it is, and then some people it's quite obvious that they've had work done. So why hide it, right? So like how many units of Botox do I need in my lips or something would be like a question that we would get when Botox doesn't go in the lips, that's filler. Another one is, I guess, like, thinking body contouring is going to be a complete body makeover, and that's just not the case. You're not going to come in with a BMI of 40 and think you're going to drop down and get a 6-pack or something like that. So yeah, I mean, there's only so much that we can do with our devices, but we try to maximize them as much as we can and get the best results possible.
So what can we expect with this upcoming podcast? What kinds of things are we going to talk about?
Yeah, I think in general, like, it's going to be some broad topics. Obviously talking about skin and health in general, beauty topics, wellness as well. We'll bring in some mindset type stuff, which we're both pretty passionate about, I think, as well. And then just everything in the industry, different devices, what works, what doesn't work, what we're doing, why we choose certain things or why we recommend certain devices or certain treatments.
And we're actually really funny too.
Yeah.
So like we may throw in a few jokes here and there too.
And what if people have questions? Is there a place where they can send their questions?
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely take some questions and answer them on the podcast as well. So they could send them us a DM on Instagram, or you could also send us an email at info@keysmd.ca. Instagram is KeysMD Cosmetic Clinic. And we'll take your questions and try to answer them if there's any topics that people want to address.
That sounds awesome. Thanks so much for today. We're really looking forward to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.